There's a new kid in town, and the new kid has a name, and the name is catastrophism, which is a body of knowledge about catastrophes on planet Earth. And this has been known about for decades. And if one wanted to know what do the elites know and governments know that we don't know, it's the science of catastrophism, which is reoccurring planetary disasters on a cyclic nature. And these have the power to end civilization worldwide, and these are events on the scale of the solar system and of the galaxy. There are huge electromagnetic and nuclear phenomena which happened every 25,000 years, 12,000 years, 6,000, 3,000, 1,500, 700, 400, and they have to do with the sun setting fire to all the random dust in the solar system, which creates a mini nova, and that burns the planets. And the solar system goes around the galaxy, but it doesn't go in a straight line. It goes above the plane of the galaxy, below, above, below, above, below. And every time it crosses that plane, there's a disturbance big enough to ripple the surface, maybe cause a pole change, maybe Antarctica will wind up at the equator, 12,000 foot high tsunamis, knocking over stone temples in the Andes. This is all coming out now, and this is what the elites, in quotation marks, have been hiding from us. Then why are they building bunkers? Why is there that seed bank in the north? This is why, and this is based on science, all kinds of astrophysical sciences, and combined with geology, where they said, is this true? And then they look in the rock record and they find out it's true. There are floods and volcanisms, and you see the seafloor, old seafloors from billions of years ago on top of mountains, or they are the mountains. That's how big these events are. Coupled with archaeologists have found many underground cities which were carved out of rock, and there is room for approximately 20,000 people. And these are ancient structures, and they wonder, how did they carve this out? Why did they carve it out? And how did they support 20,000 people? What were they hiding from? Well, what they were hiding from is this catastrophic event of a solar nature, beyond a solar flare. Solar flare would be bad enough, but there's sun reaches a flash point where it burns off all the accumulated dust, and that they say now, this is what happened to Mars. It's completely decimated, and why the moon is the way it is. The whole surface is congealed and melted. And we've been the victim of this many times. As far as I know, humans have been here for 70 million years. And if you divide 70 million years by 25,000 years, this has happened a lot. This is why we have no history. This gets completely wiped out. People are very busy now removing this information from the internet. There used to be able to go to sites where geologists had information like this. You could access the papers, you could read the books. Some people have figured it out, and in their videos about this, they're saying the information I use is no longer available on the net. This is why rich people are building underground bunkers, assumedly because what is going to happen is not so bad that you couldn't survive in an underground bunker, and that it's not going to last that long. This is the end times as described in the Bible. And the reason it's in there is it's a known cyclic event. And they were saying it when this was written in about 2,000 years from when they wrote this down, there was going to be another one of these events. And catastrophism is new to me. It's about 3 weeks I've known about it. Before that, it was just looking at the underground sites. Now we know why. And next year, October 23rd, 2023, there is an alignment of the 4 outer gas giants, which is enough to cause this kind of disaster or catastrophe where the surface of the earth buckles, the volcanoes go off, the giant tsunamis, volcanism causes obscured skies, not enough sunlight, not enough crops, people die, animal dies. And except for a ragtag group of survivors. Let me start again. The guy who wrote Dianetics said that life in this universe is only operating on one command, and that command is survive. And the thing that does that is the virus. The virus does nothing else but reproduce. It doesn't get better, it doesn't get worse, it doesn't get bigger. It just is. There's viruses all on the earth, in the ocean, under the earth, up down to a few miles. They found living viruses in water. And all life on this planet came from viral life in the ocean. And the ocean used to be poisonous and have no oxygen, so there was very, very little of this. And there's a record of viruses slowly working their way up to one-celled animals, and then multiples, and then filling the sea, and then coming out on the land. There are viruses on meteorites that crash here, and that's where panspermia came from. So it's possible that viruses are ubiquitous in this corner of the galaxy. So the downside of this is it's unavoidable. We don't have technology on that scale to stop an electromagnetic event on that scale, or to stop a mini nova. And humanity's still here, so it must mean that people have survived previous disasters by going underground. This may last, the bigger figure is about 150 years. Smaller figure is a few days, like an earthquake or a tsunami goes on for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and then disaster for weeks, and then recovery is months. So we're looking at a pretty big, probably not an extinction level event, but it'll end sewers and anything with a digital chip in it will probably be fried. A lot of the land will be scorched. One of the aftermaths is snowfall by the yard, plunging temperatures, which is enough to kill animals, birds, foliage, people. This is coming out lately. A lot of people are. My specialty is history and esoteric, mental science, yogi stuff. The mystery schools do know about this, and they tried to get their message out that we are spirits living in a material world. And this is the game of planet Earth. It's all great, and we build up, spend 10,000 years reaching for the stars, and then we get stomped on. And for the last few billion years, life has crawled up from literally a virus in the sea to Elon Musk saying we must colonize Mars. Well, this is why, because if planet Earth gets wiped out, it would be smart to have an underground base on the moon and to have a base on Mars underground so that we don't get taken out. And this is also behind the drive to get out into space, because the local system here is undependable. Again, this is why we don't have any history, and this is why we are not in space. It's unfair that we're not being told this, because those who know nothing about it are going to be going about their daily business, and they're going to get fried, literally. And the survivors will have no resources to go to. There will be no government, no store, no phone, no police, no fire, no ambulance, because the whole world will be affected. And I'm sure a lot of people who are less than rich people could prepare something underground. Where I am, just by luck, I was forced to take a back road once to get out of the lower mainland here. And halfway through, there's a facility in a bowl in the mountains like that, and it's a research facility. And the reason they are there is there's the least amount of radio interference and the least amount of radioactivity from the winds. I saw the sign there and I went, if there is a disaster, I'm gonna take my camper and go down there. But not everyone has a place like that. So I guess they say that the government's decided not to warn the people because there'll be a panic buying of food, great mental anguish. And if this is going to happen, what's the use of anything if people will stop obeying the law, stop going to work? And that's a call that has been made. Now I know about this. I've been making videos about this for years. And I'm putting my money into a getaway vehicle, and I have a place to go. But no one can predict how bad it will be. Will your underground place get crushed by an earthquake? Will your mountaintop hideaway be hit with a 12,000 foot high tsunami, which will go this way and then come back out? And even if you're on that lonely mountaintop, all the bunny rabbits and bears will have been drowned. So I will carry on with this. There's lots. Randall Carlson, look him up. He is the premier expert in this. He has, I think his site is called Catastrophism. And there's many other scientists, quasi-scientists exposing this. Mostly it's not the scientists themselves, but people who are understanding the papers the scientists wrote, and they collect them and they say, if you take this and this and this and this, the result is a catastrophe. And it's documented by people, 26 people with degrees, PhDs, got together. They all agree on this stuff is real. Here's the paper. So we do what we can. There is a video series, can't remember what it's called, History of Planet Earth or Life on Planet Earth. 9 videos that explain how long it took. It took minimum 3 billion years for viruses to crawl out of the sea and become us and the animals and the plants. And there's just a brief window in time of these 3 billion years where the planet hasn't been too bad. And life was able to grow up to where we are now. There's no guarantee that after a catastrophe that life will come back. And there's no guarantee that the planet will be stable enough to allow that. And then we're back to panspermia. This game of this universe has been going on for gazillions of years. It's 105 to the 33rd power, which is 105 with 33 zeros behind it. I mean, there isn't even a word for that. Because it's designed for immortal beings, and we throw the word immortal around like no problem, but it actually could be a problem. The problem would be boredom after gazillions of years. What will I do? Well, we have a game which lasts gazillions of years, and you have no control over it, and there's no way out. And that's something that an immortal God would sign up for. Because no matter how bad it gets, He'll be okay in the end. And this is taught in the esoteric schools, that this is the way it is. But there are other universes and other games which may be more enjoyable. And this one little game on this one little tiny rock at the edge of a minor swirling galaxy is all that we know. And it's about to be stomped on again. And as a citizen of this planet, I don't want that to happen. And I've been told that we're between a rock and a hard place, or a mountain behind us and a precipice in front of us and valley below, and there's nothing we can do. So we shall see what we shall see. This current World War III demise of the United States is actually caused by the impending lineup of the four gas giants, the interplanetary magnetism, gravity, and other forces that we're not aware of have effects on large masses of mankind, like nations and armies. And what this manifests is dominance, the desire to dominance, the need to dominance, we need to get them. That's why this war is impending. China wants to dominate the world. Russia wants to dominate the world. The U.S. used to dominate the world. And apparently the pop stars say everybody wants to rule the world. This need to dominate and control is coming from celestial influence. And mankind as a whole can't escape that. Individuals can escape that. And that's what's taught in the mystery schools, is how an individual can escape. And cruelly, apparently, the masses of mankind are needed to be the way they are by planet Earth. And if everyone was to escape their fate, it would not be good for the planet. It might even kill the biology. For example, if you took a person and killed all the bacteria in their body, they would perish, because the bacteria assist with digestion of food and the death of parasites. So I would like to take my people, my family, my friends, and take them to a secure location. And I believe everyone would want to do that if we were told about this. Heads would roll if this came out. And the solution to that is justice, mystery school style, which is, if you confess absolutely everything that you did and tell us who's involved, you get amnesty, and then we go on to the next person. Because the reason is we need the data on what was done to reach a solution to the problem. Second part of that is, if we find out you lied or held back, you get 10 times the penalty. And vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So this is, just tell us what we need to know. Who's involved? Thank you very much. See you later. On to the next guy. Okay, we heard you were involved. You did this, you did that. Here's the deal. Confess everything to us so we can get the problem solved. You get amnesty, and we'll go on to the next person. this will work. Because we're all in this together, the psychopaths or not. So this is my ablution and my absolution.